Welcome to the first edition of the Shane Time Fix. I am your host, and I want to get right into it. Talk about Randy Orton versus The Miz. And it is amazing to me sometimes, and I'm not passing judgment here because myself, I'm included, how we talk about this guy should be a star. Push this guy, push this guy. When they finally do, and he becomes an established star, what are we saying? Push the next guy. And that might just be the way that things work. But it seems to me that being world champion is not an enviable position. The Miz made a name for himself by wanting it more than anybody else, by feeling like, hey, I'm the guy from an MTV reality show, and none of you think I should be a star, but I'm going to be. And I became the tag team champions. I became the #1 contender. I became the Money in the Bank winner. I became the world champion. But what happens then? Where do you go after you win the world title? Suddenly, Randy Orton becomes the Predator again. And we know Randy Orton is at his best when he is the Predator. And I will go on record saying that Randy Orton can be the ultimate. He can be the best on any night that he chooses to be. That is something that we sometimes forget. Watch WrestleMania when Orton is stuck at the bottom of the card with DiBiase and Rose. And that night was built to elevate DiBiase and Rose to say, hey, these guys can compete with Randy Orton. They can compete with the leader of Legacy. They can compete with the former heavyweight champion. But Randy Orton came out there and decided, I want to be in the main event again. I don't want to be putting these guys over. I'm going to go harder than they do, even though they're the ones who have never arrived. It's all on the line for these guys, but I'm going to go out there and I am going to take back my position. And if Miz is not careful, Miz cannot afford to get comfortable as the heavyweight champion. One of the first things he said after becoming the champion is, I want to be like John Cena. I want to be the guy who goes out. I want to be the face of the WWE. But what does the face do? He sits in comfortable chairs. He does talk shows. He represents the sport. He gets soft. So what I'm saying is, if Miz goes into the Royal Rumble soft, and Randy Orton goes into the Royal Rumble hungry, the Viper is going to have his way with The Miz. And I cannot tell you who's going to win that. I'm not even going to make a prediction, but I will say this. We will begin to see where WrestleMania is headed with the Randy Orton-Miz matchup. And I'm looking forward to seeing if Miz can truly establish himself at a pay-per-view like the Royal Rumble and fend off an opponent like Randy Orton. That will be one of our first signs this year about the direction that the WWE is headed, and that's worth paying attention to. The matchup other than the Royal Rumble that I'm excited about is Dolph Ziggler versus Edge for the Heavyweight Championship. It has been a year-long progression for me writing in the CF, the column forums for lordsofpain.net, where I was pushing Dolph Ziggler. Watch Dolph Ziggler. Pay attention to Dolph Ziggler. Everybody's talking about John Morrison. Hey, there's another guy named Dolph Ziggler. But now I've got to talk to Dolph Ziggler. This is your opportunity. It matters not how you are going to be booked at the Royal Rumble. It only matters that you show up and that you put on the performance of your career. I know that's asking a lot. It's your biggest match. It's a world title matchup at a pay-per-view, at one of the top tier pay-per-views, Dolph Ziggler. But I've got to be honest with you. Vicky gets your heat. Edge versus Vicky carries more weight. It's not a knock on Vicky, but it carries more weight than Dolph versus Edge. The IWC has not championed you. Regular fans have not championed you. The WWE has not championed you, but you are still here in the main event in the world title match, Dolph Ziggler. This is your opportunity. Edge, I've just written a column for Lords of Pain magazine, which you can check out at lordsofpain.net, about the legacy of Edge. I don't know how many more years he's going to be around. The roster is thinning at the top. Dolph Ziggler. Do you want this? Dolph Ziggler. I am seeing something, and I'm going to make a statement that many people might disagree with. I believe that WWE should consider flipping John Morrison and Dolph Ziggler. That Morrison may be better as an arrogant heel, and Ziggler may be better as a face. I watched Ziggler and listened to him in the announce booth. He is one of the most soft-spoken, well-mannered heels that I have ever seen. He's disciplined. He's a mat wrestler. Somebody said that he may be more like Bret Hart than Shawn Michaels Ziggler. And to a point, that is correct. He may be low-key, and he's definitely disciplined in the ring, and he brings something that is different. And I don't know how the future is going to play out for him, but I know this, and I hope I've driven it home. You need to show up, and you need to perform like your career depends on it, Dolph Ziggler. The fans need to leave not talking about Edge or Vicky or Edge and Vicky, but about Dolph Ziggler. My time is running out. I've kept you too long. I know I've kept you too long. If you've stayed with me, thank you. We haven't even begun to discuss the Royal Rumble. Not 30, not 35, but 40 men and women will be eligible to compete this year. Tomorrow night, I will be recording live and on location at Buffalo Wild Wings for the Royal Rumble. I will package that video and I will air it as soon as it becomes available. I have been telling everybody for half a year that I cannot imagine any event, and when I say any event, I mean including WrestleMania, that can hold up to experiencing the Royal Rumble live in a restaurant full of die-hard wrestling fans. Now, with 40 men and women, I want to tell you something. It is not about the winner until he or she is announced. It is about GTW. Guys, gals, to watch. Guys to watch. And who am I talking about? Of course, I'm talking about John Cena. And when I say that name and I say it first, you either are hoping John Cena will win the Royal Rumble or you are fearing that John Cena will win the Royal Rumble. But you are thinking about John Cena. Next guy to watch CM Punk. The WWE may not even understand what they have in CM Punk. He is an original. He is the Chris Jericho of this era. He is a creator. He is somebody that can create from scratch. And he's confident and he's good in the ring. Push CM Punk. Keep him at the top. Let him be the antagonistic son of a gun that he is. I'm trying to go fast here. John Morrison, WWE did something brilliant by pushing Morrison versus The Miz really early, because now he is, guess what, a guy to watch. And the more gals to watch that the WWE has in there, the more suspense there will be, the more we will be guessing who will win. And that is probably why, as well, we are hearing about all these names of potential wrestlers to return. Triple H, Batista, Booker T, The Undertaker, guys who could show up and make some sort of impact tomorrow night. I hope the WWE will not lapse into such a weak position as saying, hey, you're returning so you win the Royal Rumble. That is not something that's been happening a lot and does not need to continue to happen, I do not believe. But like I say, I'm not here to make a prediction. What I'm here to do is to tell you that we have an event tomorrow night to get excited about. And the conversation, I've talked to you about the title matches, about the Rumble. Who are the guys to watch in the Royal Rumble in title matches tomorrow night? Who are the big players? Who will make the big impact? Who will you leave talking about? Make your predictions. Let's have this conversation. This is one of the two biggest pay-per-views of the year. This is something that began in WWF tradition. It has not fallen off like SummerSlam and Survivor Series. You heard me. SummerSlam and Survivor Series have fallen off. WrestleMania and Royal Rumble remain the cornerstones of WWF history and tradition. We are going into one of those two events tomorrow night. This is it. Make your last comments. Make your predictions. Stir something up. Who are we to watch tomorrow night? And I want to thank you for watching the first edition of the Shane Time Fix, the STF. We have the wrestling community on lock.